Going to sort out Cambridge IGCSE Physics Paper 2 MCQ paper, and the variant for this paper is 0625/23, and it's an October November 2022 paper. So let's start off with our first question, and it states that a wire is approximately 48 centimeter long and it has an approximately diameter of 0.3 mm. Okay, so you need to concentrate on the units. Which measuring instruments can be used to obtain more precise value of the dimensions of the wire? So first option cannot be possible because the length of the scale is less than the required value, which is 48. And yes, we can find out the diameter of the wire with a micrometer screw gauge, as because it states that you need to find out the precise value of this thing. And the second option is half meter rule and 30 centimeter rule. This cannot be possible. Again, we cannot find out the diameter precisely with the help of a ruler. So option C would be the right answer for this question. Moving to the next question, the velocity time graph for a car is shown as in the graph. And what is the distance traveled by the car in 35 seconds? So now the area under the curve is called as the distance. So we can see this thing that there we have three shapes over here. The number one shape is like triangle, second shape is rectangle, and third shape is trapezium. So for first shape, the area of triangle will be 1/2 times base into height. So now you see this is your base, which is 10, and height is again 10. So you can easily calculate this thing is 100 divided by 2, which is 50 meters. Now for the second shape, we are going to find out it's a rectangle shape. So the area of rectangle is length times breadth, or you can say width. So you can see 25 minus 10 is 15, and this is again the height of this is like 10. So 15 times 10 is 150. And the third shape is trapezium. Okay, so the formula for trapezium is 1/2 sum of parallel sides times height. So let's put the values. So over here the parallel sides are this and this. So this is going to be 10, and this is going to be 20, and this is going to be the height, which is making a 90-degree angle. So 1/2 times 10 plus 20 into height is again the height is 35 minus 25. This is going to be your height, and it's going to be 10. So 2 5s are and 35s are 150. So add these values and you will end up B, which is 350 meters. Which property of the body results from the effect of gravitational field on the mass? So obviously it's going to be the weight. So let's see over here. So option A cannot be possible. That's the inertia. Density, we haven't studied about this thing. The volume is also not possible. So D is your right answer. Okay, moving to the next question, and it states that the diagram shows four pieces of laboratory apparatus or equipment. So, which pieces of equipment are used to find the density of the liquid? So, what we need to find out the density. Okay, so stopwatch cannot be possible because the density is equals to mass over volume. So, for mass, you need this thing balance, and for volume you need measuring cylinders. So let's see. So option B is the right answer. Again, ruler cannot be used, and this is stopwatch, and this cannot be used. Okay, a trickier question. A method, a metal rod of 80 centimeter is pivoted at point O. So this is your pivot. Okay, remember this point. So this is your pivot because it's given in the question, and its center of mass is at mid, and four pulleys wheels are indicated by the letter P. So the rod is in equilibrium as shown, and what is the weight of the rod. So we need to find out the weight of the rod. So let's say this is the center, COM, or center of mass lies over there. So basically this is acting downwards. The weight of the object is acting downwards. So but in the case of this, the pulleys, the force are being moving upwards. Okay, so I'll call this F1, this is my F2, this is my F3. Okay, and what else is there? So one more important thing is this, that we have studied that there would be a force, but over here is the masses are here. So this is important, that you need to convert the masses into weight. So obviously the formula for weight is mass times the value of g. Okay, so W is equals to mg. Let me write it properly. W equals to mg. Okay, now we need to find out this thing. So first of all, what you are going to do is, with the according to the law of moment, or principle of moment, clockwise moment is equals to anti-clockwise moments. So now first thing is this, I'll change my colors. Okay, this is your pivot. Put your pencil over here. Okay, for F1 we are talking about F1. So F1 is moving upward, so you can see this thing, this is moving against, or you can say anti-clockwise. So I'll write it down, F1 D1 over here. Okay, now I'll stretch my pencil again and to check where is F2. Okay, so F2 is acting, you have to put your pencil on the pivot. Okay, so this is the pivot, so I have kept my pencil over here. So now you see this force F2 is acting downwards, so now it's moving clockwise. So I'll use this F2 times D2, which is going to be in clockwise direction. And lastly, I'm going to check for F3, which is, again you can see this thing is going to be anti-clockwise, F3D3. Okay, now putting the values into the equations and you will get your answer. Okay, so over here what I'm going to do is, F2 is what, 0.10 times 10 mass times g, and what will be the distance? So it's going to be this 20. So this is the weight, force. Okay, I'm sorry, this is F2. I was looking for F1. Okay, so just a second, I'll better put my values over here. So now you see this thing, this is for F1. So F1 will be, yes, it's going to be 0.10 times 10, and then we have to multiply the distance, which is going to be 20, plus then you have again the mass is what, 0.10 times 10 and times. Now you see for F3 the moment arm is like this, is 40 and this is 20. So 40 plus 20 is what, 60. Over here F2, for F2 you need to find out F2, and the distance is 40. So if you do the calculation, you will end up with 20 plus 60, and this is F2 times 40, and this is going to be 80, and 40 F equals to this, F equals to 80 divided by 40, which is going to be 2 Newton. So option C would be your right answer. The diagram shows an object moving at a constant speed in a circular path in the direction shown. Okay, so the object is moving in a circular path, and this is the direction. A force acts on the object to keep it in a circular path. Obviously, this is the centrifugal force, which is the resultant force, and it will be asking the direction of the force. So I have already mentioned you guys that whenever these type of questions come, so you are the direction of the resultant force will be toward the center of the circle. And moving to the next question, a force F acts on a body of mass m for a time t. During this time, the velocity of the body increases from u to v. So u is the initial velocity and v is the final velocity. Which equation relates force, mass, time, initial velocity and final velocity? So you have recall the formula of impulse, which is F times t equals to change in momentum. F, this can be written as m delta v. This can also be written as m, and then it's going to be v minus u. Okay, so this is going to be like the option C would be your right answer. Okay, an object falls toward the Earth's surface. What happens to the gravitational potential energy? So obviously, if the height of the object is decreasing, so it's going to be decreased, and the kinetic energy will be increasing. So this is an easy question. A skier is pulled up a short straight slope at a constant speed by a rope. The tension in the rope is 100 newtons and there is a combined frictional and air resistance force of 20 newtons acting on the skier. The slope is 10 meter long and the skier rises 1.5 meter vertically. How much work done is by the rope pulling the skier? Okay, so first of all, you remember this thing that the length, the slope is 10 meters long. Then you have the height, which is going to be like 1.5 meters, and we know that work done is equals to force times distance, and this d can be distance and this can be displacement as well. Okay, why it is displacement? Like you see in this question, they have asked you what will be the distance or displacement between point A and C, A, B, C. So now it's a right angle triangle. So applying the Pythagoras theorem, which is going to be AC equals to under root 10 square plus 1.5 square, which is going to be around 10. And so if you multiply 100 newtons with 10, so you will approximately end up with 100 joules. So option C would be your right answer. I have rounded off the values. In some situation, a force does work. Okay, yes, it does the work. Force is one of the reason that is the cause, that is a cause of a work. Okay, which set of condition increases the quantity of work done by the force? So obviously, when you go into the formula, work done is equals to force times distance or displacement. So if you increase the force, so obviously work done will be more, and if you increase the both of the quantities, so there will be more work. So option C would be the right answer in this case. Measuring cylinder of cross-sectional area 4 centimeters square. Remember the units, okay, and 2 to 4 centimeter cube of liquid. The pressure of the liquid at the base of the measuring cylinder due to the liquid is this pascal. What is the density? Okay, now you see this thing I was telling you, remember to focus on the units. So now the answers are in meter cube. So first you have to convert the area in centimeter square to meter square. So we know that 100 cent. Okay, let's do this. 1 centimeter, 1 meter, sorry, equals to 100 centimeter. Squaring on both sides, so you will end up with this. And then we have to convert use the 4 centimeter square equals to x. Now you do the cross multiplication thing. So it's going to be 4 times 1 equals to x times centimeter. So 4 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4 meter square is the conversion for area. Okay, now we have to convert the volume as well. So for volume again, 1 meter equals to 100 centimeter, and cubing on both sides this time. So it's going to be 1 meter cube equals to 100 2 zeros is going to be 6 zeros centimeter cube. Now we will use this value 224 centimeter cube equals to x. So this is going to be 224 divided by 1 2 3 4 5 6 meter cube. So this is the volume. Now again you see this thing that density is equals to mass over volume. So we got the volume from this question, but how we are going to find out the mass? So by using this pressure formula, you can see this thing, pressure equals to force over area. So pressure is what? 8800. Area is what? This is your area. So you have to use this area over here. So 4 times 1 over 4 zeros, and this is going to give you around 3.52 Newton. Okay, so it's going to give you 3.5 newtons. Okay, so force is this thing. We know this thing that force is equals to weight, and weight is equals to mg, because we need the mass. So this is going to be 3.52 equals to m times value of g is 10. So 3.52 divided by 10 is equals to 0.352 kg. Now putting the values, now we got the mass and the volume. So let's put the values back into the question. So density equals to mass over volume. So mass is 0.352 divided by volume is what? 224 times 1 2 3 4 5 6. So it's going to be 1571.42, which is going to be 1600 kg per meter cube. So option C would be your right answer. Okay, the pressure of a fixed mass of a gas in a cylinder is measured. Okay, so the pressure of a fixed mass of a gas in a cylinder is measured. The volume of a gas in the cylinder is slowly decreased, and the temperature of gas does not change. Which graph shows how the pressure of the gas changes during this process? So option A cannot be possible. We have studied this thing that pressure and the volume, they are inversely proportional. So when you increase the pressure, so volume will decrease. So over here the volume is decreased, and so obviously the pressure will increase. So this is not possible. Option B, this is again not possible, because initially there would be some pressure, but this has zero pressure. So again it's not possible. Yes, option C is the right answer, because initially the container has some pressure. So when you are decreasing the volume, so is the pressure of the container, it is getting increased. Over here the pressure is getting decreased. Okay, which statement about the evaporation is correct? So a body contact with the evaporating liquid loses thermal energy. Yes, this is the right answer. I've studied the other options because they cannot be possibly right. So which change in design of the liquid in glass thermometer makes it more sensitive? Again, a larger liquid reservoir is the only reason through which it's going to be more sensitive. An ice cube of mass 12 grams at 0 degrees Celsius absorbs thermal energy from the surrounding at a rate of 3 joules per second. The specific latent heat of fusion of ice is 330. How long it will take for the ice cube to melt? So for this question you have to apply this formula, which is E or Q is equals to MLF. M is the mass, which is 12 grams, and LF is the latent heat of fusion, which is 330. So if you multiply these two values, so you will end up with 3960, and then you are going to divide this 3960 divided by 3. So you will be having this time. So this option B is your right answer. Which piece of equipment is designed to produce a type of electromagnetic waves? So electric generator, electric fire, electric motor, electromagnet. So option A is the right answer for this. We know that it produces electricity, It does the mechanical work. uh, Electromagnetic, this is a green magnetic field, so the electric fire is going to produce the electromagnetic or radiation. Okay, a board causing a float, a passing board causes a floating object on a lake to pop up and down 18 times in 12 seconds. The wavelength of the wave created by the boat is 48. So we know the formula, it is V is equals to F lambda. So frequency will be 18 divided by 12 times 48. So if you do the calculations, 18 divided by 12 times 48, so you will end up with 72 centimeter per second. Okay, the wave fronts are identical on boundaries. What is needed for the wave to refract? So what is needed, it's going to be refract. So a shiny surface, no, that's the reflection. A small gap, that's a diffraction. Different mediums either sides of the boundary in which frequency of the wave is different, no. Option D is your right answer because the speed will be different. Okay, well, now we have another question, and it states that a person uses a magnifying glass to look at a stamp. Which ray shows a thin converging lens being used to do this? Okay, in this case, option A would be the right answer because it is inside the focal length, whereas this is not in its focal length. This is again uh, not possible, and this is also not possible. So you can see this thing whenever you place certain things in the closer to inside the focal length, so the object, you see that object is going to be magnified. Okay, the diagram shows an object in front of a plane mirror at which labeled position is the image of the object is going to be formed. Again, you have to remember this diagram. So it's going to be the same distance, which is going to be like this distance and this distance. So it's the same thing. So B will be the right answer because if you see that thing from here, so it's going to be like somewhat like this. Okay. The diagram shows the action of a thin converging lens on two rays of light. The rays are from the top of an object over an inverted image I is formed, which name is given to the distance R and S. So that they are asking this distance. R is basically the optical center and S is the principal focus. So if you find recall principal focus, so the distance between these two is called as focal length. The diagram shows the air molecules in part of a sound wave at a particular moment in time. Which statement is not correct? Earlier there was a compression at x. No. Later there will be a rate fraction at x. Okay. This part of the wave is traveling horizontally across the page. This part of the wave is traveling toward the top of the page. So yes, this is going to be the right answer because he is saying which statement is not correct about that thing. Okay. The speed of light in vacuum is 3 into 10 to the power 8. Which value is closest to the speed of light in air? So this is 6, this is 4, this is, so obviously this is going to be the closest value. A 100-meter race is started by firing a gun. The gun makes a bang and a puff of smoke at the same time. When does the finishing judge see the smoke and when does he hear the bang? Sees the smoke almost immediately after 3 seconds, after 3 seconds. Okay, so these two cannot be possible. It's either it's going to be option A and B. And here's the bang also immediately, and this no. The sounds take some time to travel in air, so option B is going to be the right answer. A student is to demagnetize a bar magnet. She tries 4 different ways. Hammering the magnets, yes. Heating the magnet, yes. Passing the direct current through the, this is not possible. Placing the magnet in the, so option 1 and 2. So B is going to be the right answer for this. A student is investigating a resistance wire. She measures the current in a 50 centimeter length of wire. The students repeats the experiment using 100 centimeter of length of the same resistance wire. What is the effect of change in on the current in the circuit and the resistance of the wire? So basically, what is happened over here? Initially, it was 50 centimeter. Now the length of the wire has been increased. So obviously they are asking you what is going to happen for the current and what is going to happen to the resistor. So we know that resistance is directly proportional to length. So if the length increases, the resistance is also going to increase. So this means either C is going to be your right answer or either B is going to be your right answer. Okay, the effect of current, obviously again it has a lot of distance to travel, so the option B will be your right answer. A resistor is connected to a cell so that there is a current from positive terminal to of the cell to the negative. What causes the current in the resistors? Electrons moving from negative terminal to the cells to the positive terminals. Yes, that can be a reason. Electrons moving from positive terminals, so electrons cannot move from positive terminals, so this is wrong. Protons, so option A is going to be right answer, because uh, protons moving from positive terminal. Protons cannot be moved from negative terminal. This is this. Electrons cannot move from this. So protons moving from this cannot be possible. So option A is the right answer. A plastic rod is rubbed with a dry woolen cloth. The rod becomes positively charged. Which statement is correct? Electrons move from cloth to rod. No. Electrons move from the rod to the cloth. Yes. Protons move. No. Protons move. No. This is not the case. So option B is the right answer. Which combination of the current in a resistor and the time for which it is present results in a charge of 240 coulombs passing through the resistor? A current of 2 ampere for 120 seconds, current 4 ampere for 960. So we need to check this. Okay, so we know the formula I is equals to Q over T, and we can remodify this. Q is equals to IT. So now you apply the values into this. Okay, so I is what, 2, and time is 120. So you multiply this. So okay, so you get this. So option A is the right answer. 4 times 960 will not give you 240. 6 times 40, and this is minutes beta, so you cannot use this thing. And over here 8 times 30, again this is minutes, so these two cannot be possible. So again option A is the right answer. Each potential divider is placed in a circuit with a power supply. Which potential divider makes the potential difference across component Y increases when the light intensity increases? So now you see this thing, the basically option A is the right answer, because when the resistance is going to be increased, so it's going to be like, if the resistors are used same, if you have same resistance, so then there will be maximum resistance, and there will be like minimum resistance in this case in Y, and same goes with this in B. If the resistance is like more, so the resistance in Y will be less, so it's going to be the right option will be A. Two resistors R1 and R2 are connected in series in a circuit as shown. The current in the resistor is I0. Another resistor R3 is then connected in parallel with R2 as shown in this figure. And how do the current I1 and I2 in the resistor R1 and R2 compares to the I0? So if you see this thing, like we have to compare the amount of current in both circuits. So how we are going to do this thing? So in this case, you can see this thing, I0, let's suppose we take some values over here. So it's going to be like, this is 4 ohms and this is also 4 ohms. So this is going to be 4 and this is going to be 4. and R compared to this. Another resistor R is then connected in parallel with R2. So is it saying something about the two resistors are connected in series? They haven't mentioned you this. Okay, by the way, if you haven't like I not, if you are comparing the current, so it's going to be like let's suppose the current is 4 because you know in series the current is same across all circuit, and if we talk about the I1, so I1 will be yes, okay, there is this. So if you talk about this, so this is the resistance in parallel. So there will be less resistance, so more current will be flowing from this. So this is going to be I1 is greater than I naught, and in the second case I2 is less than I naught, because the more amount of current has been blocked by R1. The diagram shows a circuit containing a cell, a lamp, and two ammeters. The current reading on ammeter is 2 is 0.2 m. Okay, and what is the type of what is the name of this type of circuit, and what is the reading on ammeter number 1? So it's basically a series circuit. Obviously, it's not going to be a parallel, but on ammeter again we know that on the current in series circuits are same, so it's going to be option A will be your right answer. The diagram shows how logic gates can be used to monitor the temperature in a refrigerator. Okay, and magnetic switch is on or closed, so these are the logics that are provided if it is, and then not, and this. Okay, the warning light will come on, the warning light will come on if the output of Z is 1. So if the output is 1, then it's going to be, the warning lights will be it's going to be on, obviously when Z is okay. So this is 1, this should be 1, and the door R is open, the temperature of the sensor is cold, and okay, let's do this thing. Instead of going backwards, let's follow the sequence. The door R is open, the door R is open, so this is going to be 0. The temperature is cold, so this is 1, and the main system switch T is on. Okay, what is the logic state at Y? So we need to find out what is going to be at Y, and warning light will be on or off, and we have to check this thing. So if obviously this is going to be, let's see this 0 is going to be converted into 1, and this 1 is going to be converted into 0. So 1 and 0 is used by R is 1, so this is going to be 1, and this is already 1, so 1 and 1 is going to be on, so this is going to be this. So option D is going to be your answer. 4 small compasses are placed around a solenoid. A current is now switched on in the solenoid, which diagram shows the possible new direction of the compass needle. Okay, so now you have to see this thing that okay, this using the right hand grip rule. So this is, you can easily see this thing that option D is the right answer, because inside the magnet, that is south to north, so this is your south pole, this is your north pole, and inside this if you draw the magnet, bar magnet, so you can see this thing that inside the magnet the magnetic fields are from south to north, and from north to south. Outside the magnets they are north to south. So magnetic fields lines are like this, their direction of arrow is like this. Okay, so use the right hand grip rule to do this thing. So over here basically thing is this, the magnetic field lines, this is going to be either this way or this way, so these two options cannot be possible. Okay, so this is not possible, this is possible, but when you use the right hand grip rule, so you can easily identify right hand grip rule, the north pole, and then you can easily do this question. Okay, which metal is used for the core of a transformer? So obviously it's a soft iron core that is being used in the transformer. Okay, the diagram shows a conducting metal rod PQ in the magnetic field between the N pole and the S pole. The rod is connected to a resistor in a circuit. In which direction should rod PQ be moved to induce the current I in the direction of the arrow in this circuit? Okay, let's we do this thing. Then let me transform this diagram into this thing. So this is your north pole and this is your south pole, and this is your wire, and the direction is basically this is the D, this is your B, and this is your A. Okay, this is upward and this is your C. So the direction of the current is in this direction, so this is your I. Okay, let me change the color. So if you use Fleming left hand rule, which is like father, thumb is going to represent father, magnetic field lines is going to be your mother, which is going to be your index finger, and at the child is going to be your middle finger. If you align these things, so you can see this thing in this scenario. uh, if your this is your fingers, okay, and let me draw it like this. Okay, so this is child, for this is father is going to tell you the force. Okay, so if you do this, so by drawing this thing, so you can easily identify that the object is going to the wire is going to move upwards. A thin metal foil is placed in a vacuum. Alpha particles are fired at the foil, and most of them go straight through. A small portion of alpha particles are deflected through large angles. What does this provide evidence for? Alpha particles are very thin. No. There are negative electrons in each atom. No. There is a tiny nucleus in each atom. There are neutrons. No. There is. This is option C is going to be your right answer, because some of the particles are deflected through the large angles. So there might be some nucleus in each atom. Basically, those were the when this experiment was carried out. So these were the results on which they found protons, neutrons, and electrons, and there was a tiny nucleus in which the protons and neutrons were there. Okay, the table compares alpha radiation, beta radiation, and gamma radiation. So alpha has more ionizing than beta or gamma. Uh, yes, this is right. Option A and option C. This beta, a proton. Oh no, this cannot be possible. Okay, because beta is not a proton thing. Beta is a negative thing, so it's going to be this one. So option C is going to be the right answer, and gammas are this. Okay, so this is going to be the right answer. Okay, moving to the next question. A high voltage power supply is connected to a metal grid and a wire as shown. So you see this thing, when the radio source is placed close to the grid, sparks are observed in the position indicator. Which statement explains why the sparks are formed? So basically, alpha particles have longer range. This is wrong. Alpha particles have no charge. They have a charge. Alpha particles have no mass. No. Alpha particles are strongly ionizing. Yes, this is the right answer for this question. A student investigates 4 different radioactive isotopes. The student places a detector near each radioactive material. The background count rate is 36 counts per minute throughout the investigation. The table shows the detector reading at the start after 8 hours. Which isotopes has half-life of 4 hours? Okay, so we have to see this thing. First of all, what we are going to do is we will do this thing. We cannot subtract 36 minus 36. This is not possible, and this is also not possible. It's basically the experience and the expertise that once you get to know. Now you see this 92 minus 36, which is 56, and in one this is going to be like 112. Then in the next half-life it was like 168, and then it's going to be 224. So you see this thing, if you add 224 plus 36, so you will end up with 260. So option C is going to be your answer. 224 plus 36 is going to be 4016. Yes, so this is going to be your answer. So this was the paper, and if you have any query regarding this, do comment me. Thank you very much, guys.